Hey guys, Chad with BAKO'S Custom Lawn, and this is kind of a part 2 video to the Moen Birchfield faucet. So I'm bringing you up a little closer here. Basically, had a lot of issues with stuff in the line, I think from the factory, is pieces of plastic. And basically, I guess they're caught up in this deal here. And not sure why it would be left in there from the factory, but anyway, it was. And so I ended up pulling, probably 5, 6, 7 chunks out, and I don't know how many I blew out of the line with my air compressor. So to start out with, in the first part I was very frustrated because basically I would install it, it would work fine for a second, and then the hot water flow would go down. I'm not sure why it's just the hot water line. The cold line really wasn't affected. So you guys can let me know in the comments if the cold line affected you as well. But so the first part of the video, basically I uninstalled it and I would blow high pressure air from my air compressor up through the hoses, and then basically it would come out the end of the hose and I was able to pick it out with a nail or a sharp pick or something like that. And that worked the first time, and then it happened again. It worked, the faucet worked great for like a day, and then the hot water started going, low pressure again. I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we doing here? So I took it apart again. I tried that trick, put it back together, it didn't work, took it apart again. I don't know how many times I took this thing apart and tried to get the pressure fixed, but I think it was like 7 times. So basically what I ended up having to do is, if you look here on this mixing valve or this handle, there's an Allen key that's underneath here. It's hard to see, and I'll probably try and pull the camera under here so you might be able to see it. But basically there's an Allen key here, and you're going to unscrew that and this handle will come off. And then there's a little stainless steel kind of half circle shroud that goes over that. You'll pull that off, and then you're going to come to a plastic like nut. You'll take your pliers and you'll unscrew that, and then that'll kind of get you in there to where you can just pull that valve out, that mixing valve out, and then that'll get you into where basically where all that water mixes inside there. And there's going to be three little holes there. And what I was able to do is I could see right away that the hot was completely plugged with pieces of plastic. So I picked as many of them out as I could, and then I took my air compressor and I blew air through that back out the other side of the hose, and it blew it right out. So if I would have known that from the start, that would have been very valuable on how to do that. And if you guys need a video on that, I could do it, but honestly it looks like it might be a little intimidating at first, but it's really not. You just unscrew that, you pull that off, get to that little metal shroud there, you pull it off, then there's a plastic piece, you just unscrew it with your pliers, and then you can pull that whole ball thing out of there. And basically you can see all the problems with it being full of plastic. Now I'm gonna go grab one of those pieces of plastic just so you guys can see. This wouldn't have come from the water line, this wouldn't have come from the well. This is an actual piece of hard plastic from the factory, which I have no clue how it would have got in there. But when you're machining parts and you're putting them in there, that's probably how it did. So let me go grab this piece of plastic real fast so you guys can see it. Anyway, this is, you guys can see that. That's what was in there. I don't know if that camera is zooming in on that very well. But yeah, I mean, that is not a small piece of plastic. And I pulled probably 7 of those out between, each time I did this. Some of them would just, I would blow them out with the air compressor and they'd come out the line and just get stuck in the end, and I would have to pick them out. I was using a little nail, but you can use a pick or whatever you want. But yeah, these are not small pieces of plastic. I mean, that's big enough to block the whole line. And like I said, in my first video, I've installed several kitchen faucets over my years, and basically they're pretty much plug and play. You put them in, make sure you don't have any leaks, and you're done. I mean, this is the first time I've ever had an issue. I don't know if it's because it's a single-handed one or what, but anyway, I did want to make a part 2, and if you guys need me to take that apart and show it to you, I will. But I'm not too enthusiastic. I mean, this would be like the eighth time I would do this. So let me actually take this off of here. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to see if I can't. Actually, I might not need to flip it around. I might be able to. Yeah, here we go. I can actually show you that. See, up in there, and it's kind of hard to see, but up in there, there is an Allen key. If I turn the, maybe I'll turn the faucet this way. Let's try that. Sometimes doing these videos are a little tricky, but I want to show you that hole. So there's an Allen key way back in there, in that hole. And all you have to do is loosen that up. It's a small one, so as long as you got a small Allen, and you'll stick it in there, and you'll know right away if it's the right one, because it'll go in there and it'll be tight. And you might go, oh man, I got to really kind of get on it to get it off there, which is true. They put it on very tight at the factory. So once you get that in there and it doesn't spin, you got the right size. You got to give it a little bit of, a little bit of elbow grease. But once it gets loosened, you'll see it right away. So anyway, I mean, this is going to be kind of the conclusion of the video. I wasn't going to make a real long video about this, but I kind of left some comments in my first video down there, if you read the description, that kind of what I'm talking about now, but I didn't want to do another video on it. So basically just to show you where that Allen key was and all of that. I mean, I'm happy with the faucet, but installing it 7 times or whatever the heck it was an issue. And I've seen other videos where some of the guys were able to, take the hoses from the inside and unthread them. That is not an option with this newer one. I think they've got some kind of a quick disconnect inside there. It's some kind of a mechanism, and I'm not sure how to operate those. So, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because all of that junk was up in this mixing valve in the handle. So even removing those hoses from the bottom wouldn't have done any good anyway. So, if I was lucky, maybe, but if I undid them from here and I blew air up, into that way, it still would have just clogged them in there. So it probably would have just made it worse. So anyway, yeah, you got to take that handle off, get in there, and blow it down towards the hoses, and it all comes out. If you guys got any questions or anything, make sure you leave them in the comments. And as always, these videos help you out. Make sure you like and subscribe, share them. I really appreciate it. And until the next one, you have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. So as you can tell, plenty of pressure now. It's just really blasting down there, if you guys can tell. Even on the hot, even on the cold, it's really good. So I'm just going back and forth between. There's a little bit of pressure variance there, but not much. I mean, there may be still something in there in the cold, but I didn't have anything in the cold, and I blew them both out. So I'm thinking that might just be how my deal set up, or how it's going through there. But yeah, it's a little bit between the cold and the hot. This is hot, this is cold, but like I said, I haven't had to take it apart again. Hopefully I don't, but I did want to show you the pressure. So it's really good. I mean, that is a ton of pressure right there, as much as I'll need. So there you go, there's that. A little better on the hot, not so bad on the cold. Still perfect for me. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. There you go.